Life has its big questions. Is this all there is? Is there life beyond death? Is there a heaven? Some have searched for or found personal answers to those questions in the Bible or other spiritual resources. Others have found answers in near-death experiences. Still others are on a continuous quest to find the truth within themselves. But some are discovering the answers may be closer than we think, hidden in something we experience in some form or another every day. Sound.
Throughout history, sound has been an important part in spiritual kind of ceremonies, drumming, chanting, organs in churches, which helps people move into different states of consciousness to be able to access that inner knowing that they have.
Over the years, researchers have discovered that certain sounds are perceived by the brain in such a way as to allow a person to enter altered states of consciousness. One of those researchers in the 1950s was former radio executive Robert Monroe.
In the late 50s, Robert Monroe was experimenting with accelerated learning during light sleep states. And his first problem was to try to figure out how to get people into light sleep states and maintain that state. And since he was a sound engineer, he started using sound with himself as the guinea pig. And as he did this, he started having what were surprising kind of spiritual contemplative experiences himself. So later on, his objective was to see if he could help others move into those same states and have the same kinds of experiences.
The discoveries by Monroe and his team of explorers led to the establishment of the Monroe Institute, nestled in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Virginia, where research continues today. The Monroe Institute offers programs, tools, and world-renowned audio technologies that support participants in achieving targeted states of consciousness, many not typically available during normal waking conditions, that can enhance brain potential, wellness, a sense of joy and fulfillment, and offer tools to the individual to find their own answers.
At the Monroe Institute, our basic program is called the Gateway Voyage. And in this program, participants have the opportunity to move into 5 different states of consciousness where they can access that intuitive knowing that we all have in a much easier fashion. Other programs, such as Heartline, help us move into a heart space, opening the heart. Another one called MC Squared helps us with manifesting and creation. We do things in there like bending spoons and learning that we really can do these things. And participants say that, first of all, they lost their fear of death. But more than that, they kind of became more present in their own lives. One of them summed it up by saying, it's like I turned up the volume on my life.
The Monroe Institute provided me with a really safe, non-judgmental avenue to learn how, using the technology that they have developed here, how to access those answers from within myself, which changed my life in an incredible way, because once I was able to begin to access that information, my perceptions about how I viewed myself in my life changed, and I began to see the world in a different way.
We feel that anyone who's going through life changes, and that seems to be most of us, can find some real interesting benefits here because they're able to find their own answers. They can access their own inner knowing. But right now, we're doing some research and working with people, for example, veterans who are trying to adjust to daily life. But in the past, we've done a lot of research and helped a lot of people also with insomnia, anyone with focused attention kind of problems. So there's many applications, including our contemplative meditative focus here at the Institute.
I started doing research on binaural beats after I found an application on my phone that had given me some relief from concussion symptoms, and after playing 7 years in the NFL, it's kind of inevitable for you to have sustained some damage to the brain. So when I found relief from that, I looked into the technology and I found that the Monroe Institute was in fact the group that developed binaural beats. And I reached out to Carol, the the president at Monroe, and she got back to me right away and expressed interest in possibly working with me and helping get this technology out there in the hands of other players who've had some who suffered trauma from football. And so far we've been able to help some guys, and the results have been quite impressive.
Over the last 40-plus years, tens of thousands of people have attended the Monroe Institute's programs, both on and off campus, and millions have benefited from its educational materials and continuing education programs. The Monroe Institute has supported men and women worldwide to personally achieve profoundly deep, specific levels of awareness and relaxation.
Since we know that a lot of people aren't able to spend a week here in Virginia with us, we do have residential programs both in Texas and Chicago and also in California where they can have the same kind of experiences. But also we have what we call outreach facilitators that do weekend programs all around the U.S. and in some foreign countries. Also we have CDs available to use at home. And this year we're going to be doing online programs so that anyone, anywhere can have the benefit of having a facilitator guide them in the process.
The Monroe Institute, as a nonprofit organization, also serves as a research facility exploring practical applications for everyday use. The Institute is devoted to the premise that focused consciousness contains solutions to the major issues of human experience. As Monroe put it, the greatest illusion is that mankind has limitations. To learn more, visit monroeinstitute.org.